Divinely confirmed, 7 miraculous steps to achieve sacred peace and supernatural protection. In a quaint village, cloaked in the emerald embrace of the English countryside, Sarah's heart beat with an unwavering faith that illuminated her life like the morning sun peering through the mist. Each day she gathered her prayer group, their soft whispers rising like incense and swirling into the heavens, weaving an unbroken tapestry of hope and supplication. With God, all things are possible, they would chant, their voices mingling, echoing powerfully through the old church's wooden beams. They were clasped in their steadfast belief in the 7 miraculous steps, a series of divine acts meant to usher in peace and protection. One evening, as shadows stretched long beneath the fading light, an extraordinary warmth enveloped Sarah during prayer. The flickering candles suddenly burned brighter, a rustling breeze whispered secrets of faith through the open cracks of the chapel. A radiant glow seemed to touch each heart gathered, igniting a rash of supernatural occurrences. Women claimed they felt burdens lifted, men reported sudden clarity of spirit. Joy erupted as knowledge of miraculous healings blossomed, as laughter and tears ignited the very air with miracles unfolding. Fingers trembling, attendees recounted stories of lost items found, relationships restored, and spirits reborn. The church became a living testament to faith manifesting before their very eyes. But one stormy evening, calamity struck. News rippled through the village. A devastating accident had claimed the life of Lisa, Sarah's closest friend. A wave of grief swept through the congregation, extinguishing the flickering flames of hope they'd cultivated. Murmurs spread. Why would God permit such a tragedy became the unspoken mantra, an almost palpable doubt infiltrating once buoyant hearts. Villagers questioned the power of prayer, a lingering, ominous cloud settling over the community like a thick fog. In her anguish, she drifted towards earthly remedies. Doctors' offices filled with disappointment as treatments failed. She felt as if the heavens had turned a blind eye. Drowning in despair, she sank into a darkness that loomed heavier than the storm clouds above. Yet amidst this turmoil, she found herself once more in prayer. Desperation became her strength. During one fervent session, a vibrant voice resounded, a divine echo. What seems impossible is where faith begins. At that moment, her heart quickened. Could it be true? Hope ignited a flame within her, and she sprang to life. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference.
Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Rallying her prayer community, they surged forward, rallying in joyful intercession. Each miraculous step they took became a foothold of faith. Sudden healings erupted among villagers who sought prayer. Laughter filled the air once more as forgotten blessings resurfaced. Long-lost friendships rekindled over cups of tea in candlelit rooms. The village began to piece itself back together under the cloudless expanse of restoration. Yet in this rebirth, Sarah's heart wrestled with questions too heavy to name. Amidst sparks of miracles, shadows of doubt loomed large in her heart. Would her faith be enough to withstand the storm brewing beyond the horizon? As a new dawn approached, darkness thickened. The sky above painted in ominous hues, hinting of trials yet to come. With breath held tight, Sarah wondered, what could this new challenge bring? What unyielding tests awaited the faithful? As mystery hung in the air, the future spiraled out of view, and Sarah stood ready to confront her greatest test, a miracle still yet undetermined, held tightly in the hands of fate. The morning sun struggled to pierce through a tapestry of clouds that loomed heavy over the village, casting a shroud over hearts still grieving. Sarah awoke with a sense of urgency pressing upon her spirit. Each beat of her heart mirrored the echo of doubt and hope battling for dominance within her soul. As she pulled herself from the warmth of the covers, she knew that the coming days would demand more than her previous faith. In the midst of uncertainty, she sought the refuge of the church. The wooden doors creaked open, revealing the familiar embrace of the sacred space. The flickering candles were waiting, casting shadows that danced along the stained glass, recreating stories of old. Sarah sank to her knees, pouring out her heart, each sob a plea for guidance. "Lord," she whispered, "reveal thy purpose in this storm. Strengthen my heart to face whatever comes." Little did she know, the storm wouldn't merely come from the skies, it would descend from the shadows of the village. Rumors began to circulate, dark whispers spreading like wildfire. The other villagers, still reeling from Lisa's tragic death, began to turn on each other, their grief morphing into resentment. "Where is the peace they promised us?" old Thomas grumbled at the market. "Is this what we get for believing in miracles?" Sarah sensed the tension in the air and knew she needed to act. It was clear their community was fracturing, and she couldn't stand aside. Rallying her prayer group, they gathered again under the church's wooden beams, hearts aligned in devotion. Their voices rose higher than before, mingling in an anthem of faith. "Lord, grant us peace, reignite our spirits," they cried, their urgency mirrored in the tears of many present.
It was then that the palpable energy enveloped them again. A warmth similar to that evening of miracles washed over the assembly. Suddenly, Sarah felt a stirring, a powerful reminder that sometimes answers come not in clarity, but in the act of reaching out. She looked around and saw weary faces filled with doubt. In that moment, divine inspiration sparked within her. "Let us not only pray for peace, but be instruments of it," she exclaimed, her voice steady with newfound conviction. The group nodded, hope igniting through the grieving hearts. They decided to hold community gatherings where faith would not be merely spoken but lived out. Sarah knew their first act would be to remember Lisa, to honor her life, and to share testimonies of faith and love. Through storytelling over shared meals, they would weave the bonds of unity stronger than the sorrow that once threatened to divide them. As word of this gathering spread, old grudges began to dissipate. Neighbors who hadn't spoken in years started to reply with laughter, and the village rekindled connections long forgotten. It was more than fellowship, it was a revival, a blossoming of spirit against the encroaching darkness. Yet, as Sarah basked in the warmth of these relationships blossoming anew, a flicker of doubt persisted within her. Was this enough? Could mere gatherings truly dispel the shadows of grief and despair? Would her faith withstand the challenges that still lurked, unseen and unresolved? The horizon darkened still, not with the coming of physical storms, but with the weighty question of their true spiritual readiness. What deeper test awaited them, unseen yet palpable in the heaviness of the air? As Sarah surveyed the faces around her, filled not just with hope, but a yearning for true reconciliation, she felt her heart quicken. Could a miracle of transformation still be waiting? What would it take to overcome the burdens still absent from the light? With a deep breath, they prepared to step forward into the unknown, together cradled in the promise of faith, ready to face whatever divine mystery would soon unfold. As twilight fell, Sarah felt a shift in the air, a stillness heavy yet expectant. The village seemed to hold its breath, a collective pause, waiting for something to unfold. With the gatherings now established, she sensed a fragile hope beginning to root. It was in the simple acts of sharing meals, exchanging stories, and offering each other comfort that they began to heal. Yet Sarah was acutely aware that the shadows still hovered. The scars of grief ran deep. That evening, gathered around a table in the church hall, the warmth of the candlelight flickered against the cold walls. Smiles were beginning to replace tears, but the underlying tension lingered. Sarah spoke about Lisa, her voice breaking with emotion. "She would want us to carry each other through this, to find peace together," she said, the words flowing like a balm.
The villagers shared stories about Lisa's kindness, her laughter that had once filled their homes. Each testimony was like a thread, weaving their hearts closer. As they reminisced, a soft laughter erupted, reminding them that joy could rise from despair. Yet still, Sarah noticed a shadow cross over old Thomas's face. His eyes reflected a storm that stirred within. The doubts and resentments he held were palpable, even amidst the camaraderie. "Can we truly trust in this divine peace?" he asked, his voice quaking. "After all that we have lost, how do we know it's real?" The room fell silent, the question hanging heavily in the air. It was a question many in the room were afraid to voice. As Sarah looked around, she saw anxious expressions, but also resolute glimmers of hope. "Faith doesn't mean we won't face storms, Thomas. It means we walk through them together," she replied, her voice steady yet gentle. "And together we can find the light even in the darkest times." But uncertainty lingered, an invisible thread binding their hearts to lingering grief. That night, Sarah retreated home, thoughts racing like shadows through her mind. She knelt by her bedside and whispered a sincere prayer. "Lord, how do I lead them through this? Show me the way." Silence enveloped her, yet deep within her heart, warmth ignited, a knowing that the answer was coming, though perhaps not as she expected. In the days that followed, the village took on a different rhythm. Sarah sensed it. The air crackled with a strange, unexplainable energy. It urged her forward. That Sunday, the church was filled beyond its usual capacity. Villagers squeezed into the pews, faces painted with a tapestry of emotions, hope, confusion, and tentative faith. Together, they sang hymns, voices soaring as the music lifted the very rafters, as if the heavens themselves were echoing their praises. In that moment, a divine peace began to swirl around them, wrapping them in a comforting embrace. But just as quickly, the weight of Thomas's question resurfaced. Was it enough? Could their singing banish the shadows? As the final hymn ended, a hush fell over the congregation, and Sarah felt the stirring of something more within her. She stepped forward, eyes scanning the familiar faces. "Let's not stop here. Let's ask for a miracle," she proclaimed, her voice rising. "Let us gather not just to remember Lisa, but to invite her spirit to guide us in uniting the heart of this village." And in that moment, a gust of wind rushed through the open doors, extinguishing some candles, but igniting excitement in their hearts. A flicker of light danced off the walls as Sarah's spirit surged. What would you ask God for right now? The question hung in the air, a divine call echoing through the hearts of the villagers. What did they need most? With eager anticipation, they held their breath, the next step before them glimmering faintly like a distant star. What might God reveal when they gathered in faith, hope, and expectation? The divine plan unfolded slowly and patiently, yet Sarah felt the promise of something extraordinary on the edge of their own becoming. And as they prepared to voice their desires, they knew a transforming power was waiting just beyond this moment. What miracle was still hidden from view? With the weight of anticipation lingering in the air, Sarah felt a pulse of energy resonate through the room. It was a moment knit with hope, but there was also a collective hesitance.
They stood at the precipice of something profound, yet uncertainty loomed like a blanket over their hearts. One by one, villagers began to share their most heartfelt desires. Young Emily, her voice trembling, spoke of a home filled with laughter again, a place where she could feel Lisa's presence once more. The fervent agreement from the others stirred a collective yearning, an unspoken bond formed from shared sorrow. Then it was Patrick, whose raw honesty cut through the tension. "I want to believe we can rebuild what we've lost, but how?" He searched Sarah's eyes for assurance, as though she held the key to unlocking peace. Sarah took a breath, sensing the thirst for understanding. "It starts here, together," she said softly. "The light we seek shines brightest when we carry each other's burdens. We must be willing to open our hearts to love and to trust, even when the shadows seem overwhelming." A gentle murmur of agreement rumbled through the congregation. As she spoke, Sarah found herself lit with inspiration. She reflected on the many times Lisa had brought the village together, even during strife. "Let's honor Lisa by starting a tradition of gratitude, a circle of sharing our wishes and blessings each week. Each voice matters. If we hold our prayers in faith, we will feel the miraculous unfold." A wave of murmurs rippled through the room as hearts stirred. This was a stunning revelation that lit sparks of hope. Just then, a moment of silence enveloped everyone, and old Thomas rose slowly, eyes glistening. "I misjudged what faith could bring. I was scared to hope, but perhaps," he paused, memories tugging at him, "we can uncover a deeper connection. Will we truly welcome our own healing as Lisa would have wanted?" With Thomas's words, the air shifted again. Something caught fire, igniting the dreams long buried beneath the weight of grief. "Yes, let's breathe life back into our village," Sarah exclaimed, her voice infused with passion. "Let's share our fears, but also our hopes, and learn to trust together." Each person began to nod, a shared affirmation building in the room. It was not just a wish, it was becoming a pact. As they began to speak out loud their dreams, the energy transformed. One by one they shared their desires. Some wished for reconciliation, while others yearned for joy, health, and even courage to forgive. The intimacy grew deeper, pulling at the threads of connection binding them all. The warm glow of candles flickered brightly, almost celebrating their resolve. Suddenly, the gust of wind that had swept through earlier returned, wrapping around them once again. It carried whispers of divine presence, stirring the flames of their shared prayers, igniting them with purpose. "Let's write them down," Sarah suggested. "We can return to these wishes and watch how God begins to answer." She handed out small pieces of paper to each person. As they scribbled, the excitement in the room surged. Outside, leaves rustled gently in the trees, like a gentle whisper from the heavens. It was clear that the winds bore witness to their hopes. Just then, a soft glow filled the church, casting a radiant light that enveloped them, as if heaven itself approved of their intentions. As they united their prayers, they were no longer just a village mourning. They were a community on the cusp of extraordinary transformation. And in that divine embrace, Sarah felt a surge of conviction growing within her. "This is just the beginning," she proclaimed. "As we gather each week, let us commit to lifting each other's spirits. What greater miracle is waiting for us than to truly seek it as one?" The villagers nodded, hearts ignited, but with new questions forming. What miracle was just beyond their grasp? Could their united faith manifest change so vibrant? And what would that look like? As they left the church, Sarah looked up at the stars, sparkling like promises in the night sky. She could feel their faith dancing among the twinkling lights, a divine mystery unfolding among them. What wonders awaited their hearts in the coming weeks? The following week arrived, bathed in soft morning light, with the anticipation of the villagers palpable as they made their way to the church once more. Sarah stood outside, her heart racing with a mix of joy and trepidation. She could sense something miraculous in the air, a feeling that their gathered intentions from the previous week were about to flourish. As the villagers trickled in, smiles greeted her, and the air hummed with renewed energy. There was a deeper understanding between them now. They weren't just sharing dreams, they were weaving a tapestry of hope, stitched together by faith and shared vulnerability. Once again, they formed a circle, the candles flickering gently on the altar. The same warm glow from last week enveloped them, creating a sacred atmosphere that felt almost tangible. Sarah closed her eyes and exhaled slowly, grounding herself in that beloved community. "Welcome, everyone," she began, her voice steady. "Today, let's take a moment to reflect on the wishes we wrote down last week. In this circle, we want to hold each other's dreams and nurture them like seeds. Let's lift them up in prayer, believing that they will blossom."
The villagers bowed their heads, and Sarah could feel the weight of their shared hopes rising like incense to the heavens. She started to speak, her words flowing softly, inviting God's presence into their midst once more. The room filled with an unshakable stillness where hearts beat as one. One by one, the villagers began to share updates on their wishes. Emily spoke first, her voice a whisper yet filled with determination. "I spent the week remembering stories of laughter with Lisa. It helped me to see that she's always with us." A few tears spilled from her eyes, yet they sparkled with an inner light. As she finished, others chimed in, each voice revealing a fragile yet resilient spirit. Patrick shared how he had taken a step to reconnect with a long-estranged childhood friend. "I realized I was the one holding on to the hurt," he confessed. "I can't carry those burdens alone anymore." The room sighed collectively, a sound of solidarity, healing the wounds of isolation. They all felt it, the shifting of something within them. Their fears were loosening their grip, allowing space for faith to flourish. A deep stillness fell over them again as old Thomas stood, his hands trembling slightly. "It's strange to think, but maybe, just maybe, we can be vessels of healing for one another. My wish was always to understand the depths of community. Perhaps I'm starting to see it, and I guess I want to be a part of that, to give what I can when I can." His eyes sparkled with a young man's wisdom, full of promise. "Let that hope be your guiding light, Thomas," Sarah encouraged, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. "You will find that what you give will come back to you tenfold." As the afternoon sun cast its warm embrace through the stained glass windows, the atmosphere pulsed with divine energy. Sarah began inviting them to speak their wishes and prayers openly, just like the previous week. They grew bolder, the desires spilling forth more effortlessly, each heartbeat echoing the power of collective faith. In that sacred space, something remarkable unfolded. Amidst the vulnerability, laughter erupted, a sound both pure and liberating. They cherished the lessons of the past while clasping the promise of tomorrow. But then, just as they felt this newfound strength, a sudden chill swept through the room, dimming the candles momentarily. Silence tumbled down like a blanket. "What was that?" whispered a woman, fear edging her voice. "Stay together," Sarah urged, raising her hands. "This is part of our journey. Every shadow we face can lead us to deeper understanding." A communal shiver passed through them, but faith ignited like the candle's flame. It was a challenge, a test, yet together they were secure.
As they stood firm, a flickering light emerged, brighter and steadier than ever before. With eyes wide, they looked toward it, uncertainty mingling with awe. What was this light trying to reveal? The collective hearts vowed to stay rooted in love, for the true miracle was about to unfold. What revelation lay hidden within that ethereal glow? The flickering light danced before them, illuminating the expressions on each face like the first rays of dawn after a long night. Sarah's heart quickened. It felt as if the light was alive, pulsing with an energy that resonated deeply within their gathering. Like a divine whisper, it beckoned them forward. "Embrace it," she urged softly, her voice calm amid the swirling emotions. "Let it wash over you." The villagers, entranced, began to step closer together, forming an even tighter circle. The sound of their breaths harmonized, a gentle melody that filled the charged atmosphere. A sense of sacred unity enveloped them, wrapping around their souls like a warm blanket. "What do we do now?" someone asked, the question a thread of anxiety trailing through the air. "Trust," Sarah replied, her eyes bright with faith. "Trust that this light has a message for us." Tentatively, she raised her hands to where the light manifested most prominently. The warmth radiated down upon her, igniting a spark within that she could hardly contain. In that moment, she knew it was more than just a reflection of sheer hope. It held strength, guidance, and divine insight. Suddenly, from the back of the circle, a bold voice cut through the stillness. "I think this light is here to remind us of our purpose." It was Claire, her spirit shining as brightly as the glow that surrounded them. "We have gathered here not just to share our dreams, but to become catalysts for change. God has brought us together for a reason." With those words, a hum of agreement surged through the crowd. They began to nod, sparks of revelation igniting in their hearts. Deep inside, they began to realize that the light was asking them to witness more than their personal wishes. It called them to look outward, to see their roles in the greater community. "Together," Sarah replied, her voice trembling with the weight of their collective awakening, "let's pray for clarity. Let's ask God what we are meant to do with this light in our lives." As they bowed their heads again, the air became thick with expectation. Sarah's heart brimmed with joy as she listened to the murmurs rise like fragrant smoke. Each prayer was an anchor, drawing them closer to one another and to the divine. Each word flowed freely, carried by the faith that was building among them. Moments passed, and just as they felt they were nearing the end of their prayer, a sudden wind surged through the room, rustling the candles and sending a fresh wave of warmth that made the very walls of the church seem alive. Faces turned towards the light, their eyes wide with wonder and fear intertwined. Then a single bright beam shot across the room, illuminating an older wooden panel on the wall that went largely unnoticed before. There, in the rich grain of the wood, a pattern appeared. A figure, seemingly peaceful, arms open wide as if inviting them in. Gasps fused with awe surrounded them. What is that?" whispered a voice from the circle. "It's a message," Sarah declared, fingers brushing a hidden tear. "Perhaps a reminder that God's love is boundless, asking us to embrace one another in that same way." As the villagers absorbed this revelation, they felt it shift something within, a surge of purpose that ignited their hearts and drove the fear away. Here was their chance to be conduits of light, sharing the peace and acceptance that Jesus embodied. But in that moment of clarity, another chill crept back into the air, brushing against them like a cold whisper. The wooden figure, once a source of warmth, flickered in the light, almost as if it were alive with emotion. The atmosphere thickened, and uncertainty clawed at the edges of their courage. Deep down, they sensed that just as they were about to step forward, a greater trial awaited on the path ahead. What if embracing our purpose means confronting what holds us back? Sarah pondered aloud, her mind racing with questions. The villagers stood united, a sea of hopeful faces, ready to face whatever might come. Suddenly, the weight of their expectations began to shift again, hinting at something unexpected yet profoundly spiritual before them. What lies in the depths of their desire to truly live as vessels of love and peace? The figure on the wall flickered once more, and with its glow came an overwhelming feeling of peace that began to sweep through the room. As if attuned to their souls, the villagers breathed in this serene energy, their spirits lightening with each heartbeat. Sarah could almost hear the whispers of reassurances echoing in the silence surrounding them. Sometimes, embracing our purpose means stepping through the shadows we fear, Claire encouraged, her voice steady and bright. We must ask ourselves what those shadows are. What is standing in the way of us acting as the bearers of this divine light? Each heart absorbed her words. The room was now a living tapestry of emotions, curiosity, hope, and an undercurrent of fear. They understood that this moment was pivotal, one that could shape their values and actions for days to come. "Let's talk about our shadows," Sarah suggested gently, sensing the need for transparency. What fears do we hold on to? What doubts tether us when we should be spreading our wings? One by one, voices began to rise, each timid but growing stronger, as if fueled by the light that was now their ally. A man named Joseph, his voice cracked with vulnerability, spoke first. "I worry that I'm not enough. What if my efforts don't lead to change? What if I fail?" A ripple of empathy washed over the crowd, and Sarah nodded, her heart swelling at their communal courage. "It's okay to feel that way, Joseph."
What if that fear is just a reminder that we are called to lean on each other and on God? More hands were raised, sharing struggles and doubts. Each confession was like a candle flickering brighter, igniting a collective resolve. Fear transformed to unity. Vulnerability became strength. "I hold so many regrets," said Margaret, her voice softer now. "I wonder if my past choices will always haunt me." Another heart echoed her sentiments. "I feel unworthy of love or redemption," added a younger woman, eyes shimmering. In that sacred space, the light began to pulse faster, almost as if reacting to their honesty. It flickered above their heads, affirming that among their deepest fears lay the seeds of their greatest strengths. As they stood together, the realization settled like a warm breeze. God's grace was sufficient, and He extended that grace to each of them, shadows and all. "Let us pray for light to shine upon our shadows," Sarah prompted, igniting a sense of purpose and anticipation. "As we invite divine light into our fears, may we find the strength to rise above them." They bowed their heads once again, hands clasped together, a web of unity connecting them. The room filled with reverent whispers as they prayed, voices intertwining like threads forming a beautiful tapestry. Each plea for understanding tied them closer until the air around them shimmered with expectancy. When they finally opened their eyes, a greater clarity emerged. The light had encircled them, no longer an external curiosity, but an internal awakening. They felt the stirring of change, prompting them to leave the sanctuary and face the world, transformed and ignited by hope. "Together we can confront the shadows," Claire said, her face radiating an inner glow. "We step into our purpose, not just as individuals, but as a community. Let's spread this light." But as they emerged from their prayers, a question lingered like fragrant incense in the air. What waited them beyond the doors of the church? Would they face challenges that would test their faith, or be greeted with open arms of acceptance? The moment of decision loomed, heavy with divine promise and uncertainty. What would they uncover about each other and the strength that lay within their collective spirit? As they stepped outside, the air felt different, not just cool against their skin, but charged with a sense of wonder. Each breath was filled with potential, a tangible reminder that they were not alone in their journey. With the light still glowing in their hearts, the villagers gathered their courage, ready to face whatever awaited them. Sarah turned to her friends, her eyes sparkling with resolve. "We can't let the fear of the unknown hold us back. We have so much power in this unity." Claire nodded, her heart racing with excitement. "Let's walk together. We won't just look for the light, we will be the light." The path that wound through the village was familiar, yet felt profoundly different.
With each step they took, the shadows shifted. It was as if the landscape responded to their choice to embrace the light. They passed the old oak tree where children once played and now gathered as adults, their voices rising in a collective laughter that rang like newly struck bells, a reminder of joy shared. "What do you think we'll find?" Joseph asked, his brow slightly furrowed. He walked slightly behind the group, as if still weighing his words, but his heart seemed to be pushing him forward. "Comfort, perhaps," answered Margaret, her voice thoughtful, "but maybe we'll also find our passions. We could uncover what we are truly meant to do together." A hush fell over them as they approached the village square. The vibrant market that bustled daily now stood quietly, as if waiting. The usual crowds had thinned, leaving only a handful of souls scattered by stalls, each lost in their own thoughts. Sarah could sense the heart of the square yearning for connection. "Look at how different it feels today. There's a need here. Can you feel it?" Indeed, a deep collective yearning rippled through the villagers, pushing them to venture deeper into the scene before them. Spiritually charged, they hadn't just come to see, but to share. A spark grew in their hearts. Each villager had a fire to ignite. A young vendor, anxiety etched upon her face, seemed to encapsulate the fear they had all shared. "I don't know how to bring my products to life anymore. Everything feels heavy," she confessed, her voice a mere whisper against the stillness. "Speak to her," Claire urged softly, excitement echoing in her tone. Joseph stepped forward, the light of newfound purpose illuminating his resolve. "You're not alone. We've just come from a place where we realized our shadows don't take away our worth. Let us help you. What if we worked together, combined our gifts?" The young woman looked up, her surprise giving way to hope. "Really? You'd help me?" "Yes," chimed Margaret, her heart swelling with joy as she joined Joseph. "We can open a space here together, a marketplace of ideas, talents, and light." The others tight-knit around them now. Life began to surge through the square once more. It was as if they were not just talking to the vendor, but to the whole village. She represented every silent struggle. They had reinvigorated not only her spirit, but everyone who heard them. As they brainstormed and laughed, weaving connections, the shadows of uncertainty began to lift. Yet a question loomed at the edge of that joy. Who else in the village needed their light? "We've ignited something beautiful today," Sarah mused, looking at her friends with gratitude. "But has this only just begun? What more will we do in this community?" And in that profound moment, as they stood united, the vision of what was to come loomed larger than life, swelling with promise. What challenges would they face next in their quest to bring light into the darker corners of their world? The village square pulsed with enthusiasm as the villagers shared their dreams. Laughter bubbled up like a fresh spring, and each connection deepened the bond they felt. The atmosphere was electric, charged with holy anticipation. As they brainstormed, Sarah's gaze fell on an elderly man sitting on a bench, his eyes clouded with worries. She felt a tug at her heart, a whisper urging her to reach out. "Let's approach him," she suggested gently. Claire nodded in agreement, and together they walked towards him. "Sir, we see you're deep in thought.
Is there something we can do for you?" He looked up, surprise etched on his face, shadows of solitude fading slightly. "I've seen the village change over the years," he started, his voice trembling. "I worry about the future. What will happen to us as we age? Will we still have a place here?" A wave of compassion washed over Sarah. "You have so much wisdom to offer, and we want to create a space where every voice matters," she said firmly. "What if we organized gatherings where stories and experiences can be shared? Your knowledge could guide us." His eyes brightened, reflecting a flicker of hope. Such gatherings could bridge the gap between generations. But will anyone listen? "Absolutely," Joseph interjected, stepping beside them. "Everyone deserves a voice. You will not be forgotten. Your experiences, your story matter to us." The man seemed to sit taller, a fragile smile breaking through. Excited, Claire turned to the group. "Why don't we establish times of sharing and learning? Imagine a community forum where every person could teach and inspire. It could be heartwarming, connecting us all." Margaret jumped in. "And what if we combined this with a marketplace? Each stall could represent not just goods, but hearts. One could purchase an item and learn its story." The group erupted in suggestions, excitement reaching new heights. Meanwhile, in the background, a young woman named Leela observed silently, her eyes echoing distress. She had been hoping for a platform to showcase her crafts, yet the thought felt daunting. She hesitated, yearning but fearful. Joseph spotted her, sensing her pain. "Leela, will you join us?" he called out, sincerity weaving into his voice. "What is it that you wish to share? We want to hear your dreams." She took a deep breath, trembling as she stepped forward. "I want to bring beauty through my art, but I fear it's not enough." A sudden hush enveloped them. With tenderness, Sarah spoke. "Beauty is part of our spirit. It draws us together. What you create could light up our hearts." Leela's eyes glimmered with tears, overwhelmed by the warmth of their acceptance. For the first time, she felt not just seen, but believed in. As ideas flowed, the sun dipped below the horizon, bathing the village in a golden hue. Each villager now stood as a beacon of light, reflecting hope amid uncertainty. Yet even amid this collective joy, an unspoken tension lingered. Would their newfound light be enough to face the shadows that still lay ahead? Sarah sensed a stirring, a call deeper than her own. She raised her head, allowing the wind to embrace her, and whispered, "What greater purpose awaits us? Can we truly harness this flame?" With hearts united and courage ignited, they knew they would need to delve further into both the promises and the unknown, forging onward into the realms of possibility that lay ahead. As night enveloped the village, a flicker of unease danced in the air. What trials would test their faith and their unity next? The following days unfolded like a tapestry woven with vibrant threads of life, love, and community in the village. With the sun rising each morning, the villagers committed themselves to their newfound purpose. Together they worked tirelessly, crafting plans for their marketplace and community gatherings. A buzz of anticipation hung in the air, every moment brimming with hope. Yet, amidst this burgeoning rejuvenation, an unmistakable tension simmered beneath the surface. It was the kind of uncertainty that lurked at the edges of their happiness, like a shadow waiting for an opportunity to creep back into their lives. Sarah felt it acutely, a heaviness in her heart as the village prepared for its first forum gathering. As they gathered in the church hall, the atmosphere thrummed with nervous energy. Villagers mingled, exchanging stories and laughter, while doubts crept in. Would anyone come? Would they hear one another? More importantly, would the darkness they had all faced truly be lifted by their collective light? Sarah stood at the front, hands clasped together, surveying the room filled with anxious faces. There was Claire, beaming with enthusiasm, Joseph, quietly hopeful, and old Thomas, whose weathered features reflected a mix of apprehension and curiosity.
Each of them carried their shadows into this moment, yet their determination to bring change felt palpable. "Welcome, everyone," Sarah began, her voice steady, a beacon amid the uncertainty. "Today, we're not just sharing our dreams, we're joining hearts and stories. Together, we can weave a new narrative, one of unity, compassion, and healing." The group murmured their agreement, but Sarah could still sense the trepidation. "We've faced loss, doubt, and fear," she continued, her gaze sweeping over them. "But remember, these shadows can bring us deeper understanding. We must embrace them, not let them separate us." As she spoke, a hush fell over the room. Each heart quieted, focusing on the flickering candles around them, the soft light illuminating the path they wished to walk together. "Let's share our stories," Sarah urged gently. "What has been your burden? What holds you back from being the light?" The first brave soul to speak was Margaret, her words spilling forth like a healing balm. "There's a part of me that fears rejection. What if my ideas aren't good enough? What if I let everyone down?" A chorus of nods met her admission, each villager resonating with her vulnerability. Sarah felt the room shift. Wounds were being laid bare, and in this rawness lay the true power of their gathering. "Margaret, your fear is shared by many," Thomas spoke up, voice soothing yet firm. "But together we can hold one another up. We can create a space where no one feels alone in their fears." Encouraged by his words, others added their voices, confessing dreams mingled with insecurities. Emily spoke of her guilt, how she felt unworthy of laughter without Lisa. Patrick shared his struggle to forgive himself for feeling helpless. Each spoke, and as they did, those tender fears seemed to dissolve in the light of communal understanding. The transformation rippled through the room. Then Claire raised her hand. "I see you all, and I want us to remember, our shadows may seem daunting, but we carry the light of 1,000 suns among each other. Our voices matter, and each story shared strengthens us even more." With newfound energy, the group began to connect their stories to ways they could uplift one another. Ideas flowed, laughter bubbled forth, and the darkness that had seemed so overwhelming began to recede, chased away by the brilliance of shared experience and collective hope. Yet just as their spirits soared, the door burst open, the wind swirling wildly behind it. A figure stood silhouetted at the entrance. It was Lila, breathless, eyes wide with urgency. "I need your help," she called, her voice strained. "The marketplace is under threat. The council is questioning whether we can truly operate here. They fear we may not sustain the community." A collective gasp rippled through the room, the joyous atmosphere instantly clouded with concern. Fear had returned, haunting the very existence of their budding connection and purpose. But then Sarah looked into Lila's eyes and felt a fierce determination rise within her. "Together, we will show them the light we hold," she declared, her voice unwavering against the tension. "We are more than just individuals. We are a community bound by faith." "Do not let fear dim your spirit," Joseph exclaimed, stepping forward, his voice strong. "Let's gather our stories, our ideas, and present them to the council. Let them see what we've created." Fueled by this spark, the villagers rallied behind Lila, eyes sparkling with newfound resolve. They faced the shadows together, ready to confront whatever challenges stood in their way. They resolved to share their transformed hearts with the council and demonstrate how their collective light could illuminate the road ahead. In the following days, they prepared. They arranged to showcase their community's creativity, the bonds of friendship and love that had grown. They reached out to neighbors, friends, and families, inviting them to share in the celebration. As the event approached, a palpable energy ignited within Sarah. She felt the divine presence like a warm embrace guiding each step. Together, they would prove the power of unity, living witnesses to their miracles.
And on the day of the council meeting, the villagers stood shoulder to shoulder, a vibrant tapestry representing all they had become. They shared stories, laughter, and a spirit of resilience that could not be extinguished. Yet even as they spoke, a voice in Sarah whispered a question. What would become of them once they faced the council's final verdict? The answer remained a divine mystery, a promise waiting just beyond sight. As the last rays of sunlight dipped below the horizon, Sarah stepped forward, heart racing. Let this be our testament, a declaration of who we are. May our light shine bright, no matter how dark the shadows may attempt to grow. With hearts united, they awaited the council's decision, held together by faith, hope, and the belief that as long as they stood together, anything was possible. What lies ahead would hinge on their unwavering faith, ready to illuminate the uncertain path beneath their feet, awaiting a glorious manifestation that could change everything. Now is the time, dear listener. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these uplifting tales alive. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies to this conclusion, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see such divine manifestations. Show the world the impact of faith and community. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second.